Hello, I'm Brandon Walker, the host of Unnecessary Roughness, joined by three idiots once again for the 278th week in a row. But this episode of Unnecessary Roughness, Barstool's college football podcast, is brought to you by DraftKings. DraftKings, the number one sportsbook out there. This episode brought to you by DraftKings. I welcome Kayce Smith and Liam Blutman, but the belle of the ball for this episode, smiling and glowing like an idiot. And I don't like this. I don't. You know what? Let me talk to Kayce first. I'm not going to talk to you, Kayce.
Oh boy.
Since we founded this podcast in 2019, you and I together, it was never anything before I got here. Since we founded it, it's been a podcast of losers.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a loser. My team has lost both games and coaches to death. You have been a huge loser. You've had one season where you guys finished number 5, but mostly just a pathetic loser. We added Blutman, who's a UCLA fan, and he hates him so much he doesn't even really claim it. He's just a big.
That's bizarre.
Loser.
I
We had
claim my loss.
We have Jack Mack, who's a UConn football fan. Huge, pathetic, sopping loser. And then Katie Stats, of course, North Carolina fan. The losingest losers imaginable are on this podcast. And yet, when we were putting this show back together last offseason, we said, hey, you know who deserves a shot here? Big F. He's an Ohio State fan. They might win, but I don't know. Let's just add him. So now, in this podcast of losers, we have somebody possibly on the cusp of being a winner. Kayce, how does that make you feel?
Brandon, I don't know if you remember this because it's obviously been almost a year now, but I said that our first episode with Ev and Liam. I said, listen, I don't know how we're going to be able to handle this because we have somebody who actually knows what it feels like to win something. And now Ev is going into obviously like the most exciting game I would assume any fan of college football can feel, the first 12-team playoff. And it just makes me realize we are some big time losers. And you mentioned, we finished 5 in the country, A&M did in 2020, but that was like arguably one of the biggest years for the world history of losers. So like, it doesn't even really hit that way. So listen, somebody's got to do it. It's not going to be Mississippi State ever. I believe A&M at some point will.
It's also not going to be A&M. It's not going to be A&M.
At some point in my lifetime, A&M will win a national title. Now, maybe not when we're all together. Maybe I'll be old and in a nursing home, but I refuse to believe I will die without seeing one. However, I've gone 35 years without one. So we're losers, Brandon. We're just simply losers.
Hold on. You're not 35 years old.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. I thought you're 31.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah. Have you been 30? I thought you've been 31 this whole time.
Oh, I'll take that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Anyway,
I'm 36. Keep it moving.
You're 36?
I know I'm old, dude. I'm washed.
You're 36?
I'm so washed, man.
And you still ain't found a man in all those. Okay, all right.
Brandon Walker, damn well I have a man. Damn well I have a man. Damn well.
Losers. Okay. Big F.
Brandon,
You're on the cusp. Go ahead.
I'll be your hero. I'll wear the cape. You needed someone to come save the day. I'll be Superman. But listen, the job's not done, though. The job's not done. I haven't saved anything yet. And that's the way this team is looking at it. That's the way I'm looking at it. One more. This is all for nothing. I see the big picture.
I must be devil's advocate right here, right now, because Michigan took you down to the depths of hell, and now you have risen back. You've risen back to the 3 impressive playoff wins. You're on the cusp of winning a national title and erasing that awful, awful day. But if Notre Dame were to beat you, it makes it hurt that much more, doesn't it?
Brad, I won't beat around the bush. If we lose this game, I'll be in a dark place. I'll be in a really, really dark place. And anyone who's like been along for this ride, like watched the show, knows I hate Michigan. I also fucking hate Notre Dame. I
do.
have given them
Facts.
It has taken me basically up until really this point to give them any credit at all. I think last show was probably the last time I've given them like the respect they probably deserve. And that's the reason coming into this game, I think like I know we're better, but we just need to play clean, have to play clean. But I do respect them. I respect Marcus Freeman, unbelievable coach. They're a physical team, championship defense. So I do respect them, but we're gonna face fucking if we play our game.
These two teams played at the beginning of last season. Doesn't that feel weird? Doesn't it feel like they played 4 years ago?
Hmm.
Anyway,
It feels like another lifetime ago.
what, Bloodman?
You're muted.
Well, you have to unmute yourself if you're going to be sassy.
Feels like
sassy.
last year.
Does not feel
feel
like
that
last
way.
year.
It feels like longer ago than that, doesn't it?
Not really.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
You want to know how I know? This is how long ago it was, Brandon. I was in Chicago and streamed it. We streamed it in the old Chicago office.
That's right. That's right. So they played last year, but as far as I'm concerned, these two teams just haven't played. Like those two teams that played last year are nowhere near what these two teams are right now. It's just a complete total. It might as well be different organizations. I want to respect Notre Dame. I want to respect what they've done to get here. I want to pay a lot of respect to what Marcus Freeman has built, and I want to use this part of the show to do that. When Brian Kelly left, there was a part of people who were like, it was one of the weirdest job hoppings I've ever seen because it seemed like he had everything he needed at Notre Dame. He had been to the playoff a couple times. He was doing the right things, but then he left and it looked like he was leaving because he would have access to more five-star talent and a better path to a national title at LSU. And that's what logic told everybody back then because, LSU had just 2 years before and won the national title. And it has not worked out for him. He has taken them down a little bit. Marcus Freeman in his first year loses to Marshall, loses to Stanford, I believe, and doesn't really knock everybody's socks off in year one, but he goes to work and he builds toughness and he builds character. Then he builds and he builds and he builds. And now you have this relentless machine that is just plays tough, organized, disciplined football. Blumman, this is my Respect Notre Dame segment. I think they're going to get their doors blown off Monday night, but I don't want that to cloud my thoughts that Marcus Freeman has done one hell of a job, and this is a likable and very good Notre Dame team. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it is a very likable team. I think it's a team who has persevered, a lot and overcome the embarrassment of losing to Northern Illinois, overcome the loss to their best defensive player and best pro prospect at the time, eligible prospect Benjamin Morrison, overcome the loss of Riley Mills, a tough, great leader. They've dealt with injuries on the offensive line. They've got so much youth on the O-line. They're overcoming a quarterback who can't really throw the football, and they're still figuring out how to win games in undisciplined, mistake-free fashion. All their guys are just playing better football at the right time. That starts at the top and gets all the way down to their kicking unit. This is, you guys are kind of saying that two completely different teams from early last season. How about how far Notre Dame has come since the A&M game, since the Northern Illinois game? Like I've said, it's a national championship caliber defense. What can they get from the offense? I don't know. They're so well coached, though. They'll have a great game plan. I'm just looking forward to the game. I'm looking forward to good football. I think Ohio State wins. I guess we'll get into predictions and everything later, but I still think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
Kayce, you love Marcus Freeman from the start. And that's not, I'm not even gassing you up. You as soon as he got the job, you're like, something about this guy. Why'd you do that?
I mean, I think that it's indicative also of how I felt about Brian Kelly. I said this on the Reaction podcast last week that I think that I was a Notre Dame hater solely because of Brian Kelly. There was just something about him that was very unlikable there. And then there's something that obviously has made him incredibly unlikable at LSU because LSU is a very cool program, always has been my entire lifetime. And now it's like, what the hell? But that's beside the point. The players coach, which is such a cliche when it comes to, you found your phone. Congratulations. A lot of people roll their eyes when you say players coach, but I do think there's an element, especially in college football, because these are 18 to 23-year-olds for the most part. And they all were so excited when Marcus Freeman got that job, and they were so stoked to play for him, and the way that they reacted in the locker room and just the, for lack of better terms, the culture around him just looked like it was going to fit. And then, he goes out and he does things which a lot of people made fun of, but he goes and converts to Catholicism because obviously obviously that's a major thing at Notre Dame. It's just like he bought so far in to not just that football program and those guys, but also just like the school itself. And that is a massive thing, especially when you are somebody like Notre Dame. But now you add the fact, which is why I do think this is going to be a close game and why I do want to give Notre Dame their flowers as well, because they just like, obviously they got kicked in the teeth against Northern Illinois. That's a way different team. Like Buttman said, there's something about them that stays in complete control. And obviously Ohio State's talent and Ohio State's game they've played in the college football playoff has been at a different level than everybody else. But we've also seen that Ohio State, if they get kicked in the mouth at all, if Ryan Day doesn't have that hold on the team to this point that we've seen Marcus Freeman have. Now, I do agree with Ev. Ohio State, if they play the game, they're fine. But Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame, they haven't had to look that way since Northern Illinois, and they get kicked in the mouth and they just fight back, where Ryan Day has kind of shown to cower a little bit and kind of
Kayce, you've been with me a long time, and when you say something I don't like or disagree with, it's evident immediately, and it almost interrupts you because I'll just, I get it. I get all that.
You call me sweetie. It's fine.
It's taken me about a year, but I've got Big Ev's rhythm. Big Ev's just going along with the flow. He's letting everybody do their thing. And when you say something he doesn't like about Ohio State around there, he just starts to rock a little bit.
Yep. And he gets the look in his eye. I know. We've all got it. We've all got the
there's a subtle little, okay, I'm going to put that one on the mental scoreboard. What was it she said that made you go,
I know what it was. I know what it was.
I think it was the Ryan Day just like cowers thing, which he has, and I've given him a shit for that. But I think like coming off of like what we're coming off of, I think it's hard to say that like they've responded in such resounding fashion, and they've also had multiple games this year where they needed like goal line stands to like have come up with them. Like they're a stingy, tough team. Like this is, I've even talked about with the Jim Knowles thing. Like we forget the defense has been so good the last 2 years. We forget that 3 years ago we had a stretch for like a few years where our defense was so bad,
awful.
Like think about like Dwayne Haskins year. Like they were having to score like 1,000 points to win every game. Like there was some years there where the defense was just dreadful. I mean, when Michigan like took over like and started winning again, like we would score, but we couldn't stop them. Like our defense was bad. And the defense is just so good. And like, I've said it again and again, like if there's one unit I trust on any team, like I just trust Ohio State's defense that they will play well. They will hold their own. It's just whether Notre Dame can like just let their defense, let their nuts hang and keep us in check and make it like a low scoring, tough, like ugly game, which I think they're definitely capable of doing. I won't disrespect, as much as I've hated on them, I won't disrespect them and say they can't do that because they definitely can. And we have the team that like that's where I will like push back on my own pushback. Like, I don't think it's Ryan Day as much as like if the offense like we get squirrely, like if things don't go well. But I just think they've responded so well. Even like the Texas game, 7-7, boom, respond like big play.
Yep.
In the second half, respond again when they need it. And the defense, like I said, Penn State had a 1st and goal to like tie the game. Like we stuffed them. Texas, obviously, we saw what happened there. Even I know it's like it should have never been a game at all, but like Nebraska, they got the ball like down. They need to go score and win. We go take it from like our defense is gut checked time and time again, and this came through.
Well, I know I just did that segment to give Notre Dame its flowers and its respect because I'm going to spend the rest of this podcast disrespecting their opportunity, their chance, and how close this game is going to be on Monday because I don't think they can run with this team. I think this playoff has laid out in the most perfect fashion it could possibly lay out. They got to play an in-state team who isn't any fucking good at home to open the playoff. Then they got to play Georgia with a backup quarterback. Then they got to play Penn State with a head case coach and quarterback. And they got through and they did everything. This right here, waiting Monday night, is a different animal than what they've tangled with so far. But do y'all know who has weighed in today, just in the last couple of hours?
Yep.
Urban
Kayce?
Meyer?
No. Older coach than that.
Lou Holtz.
Lou
Arch
Holtz.
nemesis of one Ryan Day.
I was going to play this. I didn't realize it was 5 fucking minutes long.
1 through 12. I started picking out who I thought would win
I just and congratulations, he can still talk. But his tweet does say Ohio State has the talent, but Notre Dame has the heart, the culture, and the defense to win this game. I'd like to go ahead and point out that Ohio State has proven over the last month they have heart. Culture looks pretty good, and their defense is better than Notre Dame's. Stay patient, run the football, and trust the process. Notre Dame wins a close one by 3. Remember when Notre Dame and they ain't. And it's always telling to me when somebody gets up and speaks with their chest and says, let me tell you something. You guys are counting us out. We've got the heart. We got the defense. We got the culture. We got everything. We're going to win by maybe 3 points.
I literally am holding
somebody who doesn't really believe it, okay? Because no Ohio State fan is saying, this is our fucking year. We're coming out there and we're going to stick it up their fucking ass and we're going to win maybe by a point, possibly 2. That just isn't happening.
Well, to be fair, Lou Holtz will probably be asleep by the end of the game. So he's just, he's hedging his bets. Here's the thing. I do think that Notre Dame, and this isn't just against Ohio State. This is just in general under Marcus Freeman, especially this year. There is something about this team where you're like, okay, the culture does seem to be there. They're buying in. They're playing fuck you football. The offense is not great. Riley Leonard doesn't have to throw the ball. Their defense is very good. I just think that if Lou Holtz is coming out to say that, it is setting it up for Ryan Day after they win the national title to say his name again. And that to me is like part of the reason why. And maybe Ryan Day has turned over a new leaf. And maybe he's going to prove me wrong and prove everybody else wrong. But there's still something about Ryan Day that just doesn't give me all the courage in the world. There's just something about it. I don't know. And I've been wrong. I've been very wrong in the playoffs. So, but that's the way I feel. Like Ryan Day winning the national title will obviously erase a lot of that stuff.
I'll start by asking a couple of questions. I think we all agree if Notre Dame is going to win this game, they have to run the football. Who's run it against Ohio State? Who has run it down Ohio State's throat? Even Michigan, who beat them, did it in one drive in the fourth quarter, but not really. The running, it's not like the running game just destroyed them. Their losses, like Oregon passed the ball against them. I don't know that a running the Jeremiah Love and the quarterback and having to run for 150 yards, 200 yards is the recipe to beat this team. I just don't know. Big Ev, you've seen more Ohio State than anybody. I don't see many people running on this defense, especially not a Notre Dame offense that can't exactly keep them honest with the pass.
I can't wait to punch that geriatric lisping fuck in the mouth. He's going to eat his fucking words, that stupid old fuck, that geriatric bitch. That's why I'm glad you pointed out, Brandon, because I was going to say the same thing. You want to know really puff your chest out? We're going to win by 3. And if we don't, it's because we were saving Ryan Day's job. Taking his fucking jabs already, because you want to know who says that? A guy that knows he's going to fucking lose. I fucking hate Lou Holtz. I fucking despise his guts, that lisping fucking old pussy. Fuck. I think he better hope we fucking lose. He better hope we lose.
I think back to that game last year when it was the Ryan Day and Lou Holtz thing, and afterwards, I think even Kayce Smith was one of them. She's like, Ryan Day, you can't go after Lou Holtz. Like, fuck yeah, you can. If he's going to flap his own gums, you can.
Hold on. I didn't say he couldn't go after Lou Holtz. Listen, if Lou Holtz opens his mouth, Lou Holtz opens his mouth. You can go after anybody. My issue is that it was right after he won. Like, he's so much in your head that you just win in South Bend at night, a crazy game. And the first thing that you say is, I wonder where Lou Holtz is. That's where I was like, dude.
Yeah, but if before the game Lou Holtz is going after him, after I beat Notre Dame, I'm be like, hey, Lou Holtz.
It's 2 things. It's one, he directly said the team was soft when they literally went out and won a physical, tough game at Notre Dame. And 2, that you got to remember, you got to keep this in mind. Like, they're coming off an entire off season of saying you're a pussy. This program's soft, weak, all this. Like, you are hearing this for months and months and months. And then the week of the game, a legendary coach who I imagine up until that point he had a lot of respect for, comes out and basically says, you're a pussy and your team's soft. You go in his building where he used to coach and you kick his ass. You win a physical, tough game, score at the end of the game and win. Like, how are you not going to chirp back? Like, you don't get to talk shit and then be like, oh, like, why are you chirping back? He opened his mouth first. Like, he put Ryan Day's name in his mouth.
But it's one of those things where it's like, if you use that platform after your team just won to say that your mental real estate is with a guy that's asleep, like Nick Saban is up on College Game Day every week taking shots at teams. You don't hear coaches after games being like, see, Nick Saban, fuck you. Like Ryan Day, again, and I'm an anti-Ryan Day person. I may be turned wrong. It's not like it's the first time we've seen him do something soft. This year, after they lose to Michigan, he's like, they can't plant the flag. How dare them? Like, that's just who he is. And Ev, it has nothing to do with you. I'm not, but like, he has proven that he can be a mental midget sometimes. Now, he can take all the shots he wants at loopholes. Personally, if I win that game, I'm not going after some guy who talks shit. I'm going to be like, we're good. Everybody who said something, we're good. And then say it later. To me, that was weak. That was weak. Now, again, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
All right, Levin, you've been quiet because I haven't let you talk yet. So, talk about what, or expound, or respond to what I said. When Notre Dame, if they're going to win this game, has to do it running the football and being tough. I'm just looking it up. Ohio State's giving up, they're third in the country in rushing yards per game. They give up 89 rushing yards per game. They're giving up 2.68 yards per carry. That is good for second in the country. This is a stout run defense. What is the recipe for Notre Dame to win this game?
They have to be effective throwing the ball on first downs early in the first half and keep Ohio State's defense honest. And then there has to be a heavy dosage of running outside to the perimeter. Riley Leonard using his legs, and just you can't run the ball up the middle on these guys. Get out to the perimeter. Some more like jet sweep stuff, a lot of motions. They have to be very creative on offense, and they're not that creative of an offense. It's a very tall ask, man. It just, like, I think that their defense could keep them in it, but I don't know. I don't think we're going to be able to see like that elite ball control, time of possession, chewing clock, just run it for 4, 5, 6. I don't think we're going to be able to see that. I think they fall behind early, but yeah, if I was them, that's what I'd be trying to do, get out to the perimeter.
I think a Notre Dame win looks exactly like the Georgia game. It has to be, you have to have a game-flipping play on defense. You have to make Will Howard throw you a pick in his red zone or something like that. You got to sack fumble. You got to do that, and maybe a special teams play. Maybe you block a punt. Maybe they fumble a punt. Maybe something. You need probably 2 to 3 of those plays to me, and then get you a little lead. Maybe Ryan Day starts getting that look. Maybe Ohio State, maybe Will Howard starts getting that look. That to me is the avenue for them to win. Just coming out and running the football and letting your culture and your heart and your toughness win, that I don't think that works. That for me, that doesn't work.
And Brandon, if people
Notre Dame averaged 38.5 points per game this season against one of the worst schedules in America.
Well, we'll get right to that. But I was going to say, if people want to follow your heart, Brandon, if they want to follow your heart, you know where they can do it? The Barstool betting group on our partner DraftKings. Okay. We have a new thing for all customers out there. If you are new to DraftKings, again, our official partner at Barstool Sports, bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use code RUFF. We've been doing the dog of the week all year on unnecessary roughness. I think that this game, we hope is a hell of a fight, hell of a good dog fight, I guess. We don't want to see a bad football game, but go to DraftKings, use promo code RUFF, $5 gets you $200 in bonus bets instantly, new customers only.
Keith Dabman said, we're really using SOS in the finals. I just don't like how the dumbest people in the fucking country find this fucking podcast. I don't know how Keith Dabman you even find.
Brandon.
Hold on.
You like when everybody finds it, okay?
That's fine. We're really still using strength of schedule. No, but if this motherfucker's going to come in and say, well, Notre Dame averages 38 points a game, you've got to point out that it was against the fucking Sisters of the Poor. In the playoffs, their defense has been very good, but their offense hasn't exactly been knocking everybody down. So, Keith Dabman, thank you for coming, and don't let the door hit your ugly, stupid fucking ass on the way out. Fucking idiot.
I do think that strength of schedule, like the idea of saying like, oh, strength of schedule, the national championship, like I get what he's saying from that degree, but you do have to talk about what they have done against the teams they've played. Like that is a fair thing. However, that's one of the reasons I love the 12-team playoff. Now you just laid it out, Brandon. Playing Indiana, not great. We didn't think they should be in there, but from a talent standpoint, whatever. The 12-team playoff does lay it out where it's like, who cares what the strength of schedule was in the regular season when you have to
go through such a road, yeah.
Right. You have to go through such a road to get there. And I mean, Georgia obviously like played it pretty damn well in the SEC. I mean, the SEC was a clusterfuck. That's a great win. Penn State, a great win. So yeah, you can kind of throw it out. But when you talk about points per game or rushing yards per game or whatever it may be, you do have to talk about who those teams they were playing.
All right, let's see. Where can I didn't even think I was going to get fired up.
So Ev, I obviously know like by the time we all sit down on Monday, like how you're going to be feeling. But like right now, Wednesday night, 7:30 Eastern, where's the fuck you meter? Are we at 95% yet?
Yeah,
like you're going to win this game, no problem?
High. Yeah, we're pretty high.
Motherfuckers at 112%.
Yeah, we're fuck you like Buckeye bricked up for basically until Monday night. We're locked and loaded.
I figured. I didn't know if there was.
I did just say I wanted to punch an 88-year-old man in the face. I'm pretty. The fuck you meter is pretty high on Wednesday.
And not one of us batted an eye. Not one of us was like, hey.
No, and you know what? And
Lou Holtz, saying that, like that got me on like I was fired. That got me extra fired up.
And
I saw that today. I was legitimately mad.
Ev, like my respect for you is so much higher because when you say something like that about Lou Holtz, like I know that like you're coming from a place of like passion and like fuck you, man. You're not coming from like, oh, he hurt my feelings. That's what I feel about Ryan.
No, I want to kick his ass.
That's different. That's different to me. But listen, you can call his ass out all you want. I don't care. There's where I'm a hypocrite.
Lou Holtz.
I like the imagery of Big Av beating the shit out of Lou Holtz.
I'm fan fictioning me having Lou Holtz like full mount in an octagon, just goosh.
All right,
would you beat the shit out of Shane Gillis right now? That's
yeah.
Could Shane catch the Big Av smoke?
I do love Shane Gillis. That's where it'd be tough. But the second he chirped me, I would just start ripping.
I meant to get him on for this, but that's all right. So let's do this. Let's work a little backwards, not backwards. What I want to go around the room. I'll get your score prediction for Monday night, and then let's kind of flesh out how and why we got there. So, Bloodman, I'm going to start with you. On Monday night, Notre Dame and Ohio State play for the national championship. What do you think the score of that game is going to be?
24-13 Ohio State. Wouldn't be surprised if the 13 off of Notre Dame's with a missed extra point. Little nervy.
All right. And what got you there?
Oh, we're going to get that right off rip. What got me there is Ohio State's defense is just way too good at football they're playing. I mean, they've been the best unit all season. I'll say this as well. I guess I can use now as the time to say it. You take a million swings, you're going to be wrong. Right. Flat out wrong on the Will Howard thing, and that's okay because when you're in this biz, you've got to admit to your wrongdoings. You've got to admit to your mistakes. That's wrong. This team 1,000% could obviously win a national championship with Will Howard, and I want Will Howard deserves so much credit. I've said it the last few weeks. But the way that he has responded to the Oregon goof ending, the way that he has responded to the Michigan loss, like this kid has played really good football outside of that Michigan game since the Oregon game. He's played very well. And I'm not going to be surprised if there's like legit NFL teams with interest in Will Howard at the next level. I think he's been that good as a leader. His personality is like intriguing for a lot of people. He's been making the right reads, making the right throws, doing his thing in a really good offensive scheme. Like Will Howard deserves a lot of credit. I think he could have a lot of success on Monday night against a defense that is not going to be able to bracket and just exile Jeremiah Smith like Texas did. That's not really in their DNA. So I think Ohio State's going to get out to a quick lead and then just work from there. And yeah, Will Howard's been a dog, and I was wrong on that.
Kayce, what will the score of Monday night's national championship game be?
This is the head and heart thing again. I'm just a cliche. I'm just, running it back.
Notre Dame, so I want you to kind of do that. But
no, I know. No, I know. But like the thing is like watching Ohio State play, throughout this playoff, it's hard to be like, if the team plays that type of level of football, that they're not going to win the national title. And I agree with Blutman. Like I was a Will Howard hater as well. I think, we all were to a certain point. I'm damn sure a Ryan Day hater. And I am going to take Notre Dame. I think it's going to be very close. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. Brandon, you kind of laid out like, special teams, touchdown, maybe a takeaway. Like Will Howard, who has not shown any of that in the playoff, and I'm not saying he's absolutely going to on Monday night, but those are still in there. Those mistakes are still there. I'm going to take Notre Dame. I'm going to say 24-21. And I think most of the points are scored in the second half of the game. I could easily see like a 7-3, a 10-3 type of game going into halftime and all just being like, God, this is going to be a defensive slugfest. And I think there's going to be some takeaways. And I know how good Ohio State is. Like, it's not like I'm just like, hey, like Notre Dame's going to win this game. Like, miss me with anything else. Like Ohio State's damn talented, but I'm going to take Notre Dame. I think I'm probably the only one.
So I'm going to talk. Ant VR says, Penn State couldn't even complete a pass to a wide receiver. Yeah, that was a pre-existing condition. They couldn't do that all year. These receivers that show up Monday night are not Penn State's wide receivers. Now,
Brand, quickly, that's comment of the year.
What, that?
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
I mean, Penn State doesn't have wide receivers. Like, that's the thing. That's their whole MO.
Very quickly, last 10 national title games. Ohio State 42, Oregon 20. Then we have a run of close ones. We have Alabama 45, Clemson 40, Clemson 35, Alabama 31, Alabama 26, Georgia 23 in overtime. Clemson now it starts to stretch out a little bit. Clemson 44, Alabama 16. That was our first one together, right, Kayce? No, it wasn't. I wasn't here yet. Never mind. Yes, I was. No, I wasn't.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't.
Are you sure?
2000. I'm sure LSU was our first. LSU 42, Clemson 25, Alabama 52, Ohio State 24, Georgia 33, Alabama 18, Georgia 65, TCU 7, and Michigan 34, Washington 13. The closest game over the last few years has been 15 points, and that does not change Monday night. Notre Dame is a great story. Marcus Freeman's a great coach. I love what they're doing. They have brought pride back to that program, and they deserve to be at this level. They deserve to be in this game. This isn't like 2012 when they had that phony Heisman campaign. They did not belong in that game. This is a team that belongs. Unfortunately, they are playing a monster who has woken up. If they were playing the team Michigan played, I would have a different prediction. They're not playing that team. This team has played 3 times in the playoffs. They beat Tennessee 42-10. They beat Oregon 40-something to something small. They beat Texas by 2 touchdowns. And now they're going to beat Notre Dame 38-7 for the national championship on Monday night. Give it up for Ohio State. Big Av, what will the score be Monday night for the national championship?
I think it's going to be something like 38-13. I think Notre Dame hangs around a little bit early, and then once Ohio State gets, because I think this is my prediction. I think what's going to happen is Ohio State at some point is going to break through, and they're going to take like that 2-score lead, and then once that happens, once Riley Leonard, they say, hey, we can't run the ball, we're down, we got to throw it. That's when Ohio State pounces. That's when Jack Sawyer, JTT, the boys pin their ears back, and they're coming in hot. And that's when they got to take chances on defense. Our offense, Travion hits a big one. Somebody hits a big one. And all of a sudden it's a close game. And all of a sudden you look up and they're down 20. And Ryan Day is hoisting the national title trophy and the haters are sick.
We all, whenever there's a national title game and you watch ESPN guys or any national media pundits and they go across and they say the scores, it's always 21-17, 27-24, 31-28. Like, it's always close. Everybody wants to be close. The reality is this game is just rarely close. We had that one little stretch back there, but this game is rarely close because usually one team who is better than everybody else gets to this moment and this opportunity and they show up with their fucking hair on fire. And I think that's what Ohio State's going to do. The Michigan thing was such a fucking valley in this season that now they're back up here, and I don't think they're going to stop. And Notre Dame, they're just outmanned and outmatched to me. If they had Riley Mills, maybe. If they had a game-breaking receiver, maybe. If they had if they could stand up in the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, maybe. I just don't see it against this team. Like, Ohio State's too big, too fast, too strong, and too locked in. And that's what they weren't earlier this season. They weren't locked in. And now they are. And I just, again, when you say this, people are like, oh, you're disrespecting Notre Dame. You hate Notre Dame. No, I don't. And Freeman's great. This is good. Great for Notre Dame. But only one team can win the national championship, and I don't think it's them.
I have a question for you. I mean, obviously, like Ev, like we said, like he's the belle of the ball. He'll be the belle of the ball like the entire week, and we'll all sit together on Monday and he'll be the belle of the ball. But Brandon, for you, like predicting that, because here's the thing that we do know about Notre Dame, again, like take out week 2, that even like, you know, going down 10-0 against Penn State, and I understand it's only 10 points and like Penn State has its own issues, but like the one thing about Notre Dame is that they have not crumbled under pressure since week 2. Like they, like no matter what happens in the game, they do not break. That starts at the top with Marcus Freeman. You know, he has that calm confidence on the sideline. So asking you with what you just said, do you think that Ohio State is just that much better of a talent across the board? Because I don't anticipate Notre Dame doing, you know, something they haven't done this season since week 2 and being like, well, shit, okay, like we're just going to crumble now because Ohio State's going on a run. Like I don't see that. But if you're saying you think the talent is just that much better and they're just that much better of a football team, then I can understand where that comes from.
Notre Dame has had that mental toughness and has not broken one time this year. I just want you to point me on that schedule at which team was supposed to break them. Because if Georgia shows up, if Carson Beckett turned out to be what he had shown glimpses of, and then he actually plays in that game, it's not their backup quarterback. I think this was an average Georgia team, and I don't look at that victory and say, wow, woo, my God, they beat Georgia. I don't look at the game against Penn State. Like, to me, that was a 50-50 game, and Drew Aller just gave it away in the end. And I look at Indiana. I mean, I don't have to go on about what I think about Indiana. There's not been anybody on the schedule who, when it comes to pressure time, is going to make them break until now. And I think this is the best team they played by far. Not even close. It's a shame. It's a shame that they don't get to play the Ohio State that Michigan got to play, because that Ohio State was timid and scared and so worried about legacy and so worried about the way they wanted to win that game. They wanted to show how tough they were instead of just going out and being who they are, which is, you know, so talented.
It's what we're doing now. I mean, when I just see this team, it's everything from just the way they carry themselves, the way they answer questions in the media right now. Like, they just have such a different look to them. And it's been very clear to me the way they've responded, all three. Because I was worried after the Tennessee game, like, will they not get fat and happy, but will they be content that they just like got off the mat? They showed like they could respond to the worst game ever. But I just see the way they respond over and over and the way they're acting. And I just know this is a team that really understands that if we don't win the national title, this will be all for nothing. And that like they know they need this legacy. It's everything. Like this senior class, I've said it a million times, like they need this so bad to just put a stamp on just like a great career and leave on that note. And I think they take that very seriously. I just can see that look in their eye. They know they need it. They know they have to have it.
Kayce, how much of business we got to do?
We have 3 more businesses.
Do a business.
Well, I was going to say, you want to talk about not being worried. You know, if you are ever worried about what you're going to eat, you should just get in a Factor. We love Factor. Factor has been a friend of ours for a very long time here on this podcast. It'll come directly to your house, your apartment, your building, your condo, wherever you are. Every single week, it's never frozen. It's right into the fridge. It's chef curated. You go on every week and you pick your menu. You can go, keto, protein heavy, no carbs, vegetarian, whatever you want. It arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active and busy lifestyle. Only 2 minutes in the microwave. They have 8 dietary preferences. And I obviously, like somebody that's, you know, running around all the time, whether you're chasing kids, whether you've got a busy job, or you just don't want to cook, Factor is the best thing in the world. So get started at factormeals.com/roughness50off and use the code roughness50off. You get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. They have lunch, they have dinner, they have breakfast, they have appetizers. They've got you can go out and you can get yourself a steak on there. You can go out and get yourself shrimp. You can get whatever you want at Factor. Again, that's factormeals.com/roughness50off and use code roughness50off for 50% off your first box. Do it. The convenience is well worth it, folks.
Let me ask. Can I just ask Big Av a question right now, just real quick?
Of course.
Big Av, this is hypothetically speaking. Hypothetically, say a genius, an hour after the Michigan game, bet enough on Ohio State to win the national title to get about probably let's say $2,000 on Monday night if Ohio State wins. Would that genius? Do you think that genius's best play is to now put whatever on Notre Dame money line like plus 400 to equal the 2,000 he might win, or does that genius just say, you know what, fuck it, I was right then, I'm right now. Let's just keep going with Ohio State. What do you think a smart, good-looking guy like that should do?
I'll tell you what I think he should do. He would do a couple things. He'd let that money ride.
Yeah.
And then when he wins, I'm going to assume he has a friend who's an Ohio State fan, and he's got a couple of them, but he's got a heavyset one specifically.
Yeah.
He should take all that money out of his account and give it to the heavyset one. He should just give it to them as a sign of just good faith and just friendship. And yeah, that's what I would do if I were you. But I'm not you. I don't.
Like for I don't know if it's me or not. Like for luck or what? Why would he give this heavyset gentleman hard-earned money?
I just think it's if I were that person, I think it would be the right thing to do.
Yeah, okay,
I think it would be if the kind of person who is a God-fearing man, and one day, whenever that day comes, hopefully a long time from now, for that person's sake, and when they're knocking on heaven's door, it's going to be something.
You think on Judgment Day, this person they're going to ask, "Hey, did you ever give Big Ev some money just because you think that it's going to help?"
Can't hurt.
Okay. All right. Yes, Kayce, you raised your hand.
I have a hypothetical to the hypothetical that somebody may be happening. Hypothetically, if this person who may or may not win $2,000 on Monday for betting on the Ohio State University, if they were ever once called Buckeye XYZ, let's just say Buckeye Bart, maybe Buckeye Bart,
Sure. Buckeye Bart.
Buckeye, is that character going to resurrect itself? Because technically, if you're putting that much money on Ohio State, you're going to be rooting pretty hard for Ohio State, Buckeye Bart. Will you then now become Buckeye Brandon again? Hypothetically. Hypothetically.
Hell, who knows what's going to happen Monday night, Kayce? Who knows? It's just so up in the air. Now, there's another college football story I want to talk about, another college football guy I want to talk about, and you're going to do a piece of business, and then I'm going to talk about this guy. His name is Quinjamin Ewers.
Okay, well, actually, you guys are going to do some business. I'm going to set this up for you guys. We got a new friend of Unnecessary.
You know what, Kayce? Did y'all send me this copy? Because I'll just take it from there.
Well, I don't know if Liam sent it to you or not, but I'm going to set it up while you try to go find it. Fellas, we're talking boners, okay?
I don't have it, by the way, Liam.
We're talking boners. Yeah, why don't you talk about Blue Chew? And then I will do the ad read at the end. You talk about Blue Chew.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say I don't even have ad copy in front of me, but what I'm going to talk about I'm just going to talk about my hard dick. Okay.
Oh my God. No.
Because
no.
Nothing in life gets you true joy like a good hard dick. Would you agree, Big Ev? There's nothing
I was
really.
Going to say something that could have lived in infamy. I almost said something.
It's one of life's great pleasures. Just when it's time to go to work, fucking go to work. Go to work. And when you work all the time, and when you're so busy, it can be hard mentally. It can be hard physically. Maybe you need a little help. Maybe you need a little push along the way. Well, my friends at Blue Chew have just that. These chewable tablets. They can come to you in discrete packages. They come to you in just the way you need them to come to you, and you try them, and woo! It's game time, right? It's go time, and that's with this right here.
You want to feel more confident. You want to just feel that energy that me and Brandon are feeling. Buy some Blue Chew. They come to the house. Yeah. It's all online. Like you said, don't got to go to a doctor, nothing like that. Blue Chew's there to help you. When you just need that little boost in the bedroom, Blue Chew's there to help you get the job done.
Try your first month of Blue Chew free. Visit bluechew.com for more details.
I got to tell you, too, this is something, and I honestly have never taken a Blue Chew. I've never really heard much about Blue Chew. I'm learning, fellas. You can take them at any time, by the way. Like, there's not like an hour that you have to, like, okay, I think I'm going to have sex in like an hour. I need to take it now. You can take it anytime, day or night. You can plan ahead and be ready whenever the opportunity arises. I would say from my standpoint, from the female standpoint or whoever, that's pretty good. You don't have to plan it out. So yeah, special deal for listeners. First month, Blue Chew free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. Thank you, Blue Chew, for supporting this podcast. I'd assume that Ev will have Blue Chew on Monday night if Ohio State wins that national title.
God bless him, but I doubt he'll need it. Blutman, scale of 1 to 10, how uncomfortable are you right now?
1.
Okay, you seem good.
I love our sponsors.
Brandon, I will say that, in the new iteration of this podcast, there's been a lot less, I don't want to say awkwardness, but I feel like we have grown, we have matured. Can you imagine Blutman in the Brandon Walker reads Kayce Smith's DMs segments?
Oh my God, we might bring that back soon, just so he can.
Just so he has to live through that.
I want to point out some dummies in the chat. Austin Grebe says, is it crazy to say Indy loses? Ryan Day has the more talented team in a big game spot and loses? No way that's happened before. Yeah, that sure has happened before. You know who else has gotten to a big game and gotten embarrassed a lot? Notre fucking Dame. Are we acting
not
like
with Marcus Freeman?
Are we acting like this is a team that just comes through every time? I mean, news at 11, Notre Dame gets the national title game and gets shit pumped. Shocking, right?
I agree with you. Until you talk about it was with Brian Kelly or in the past. And I, again, could be completely wrong on Monday night. We could all be completely wrong. An asteroid could hit the earth and we might never even see the game. However, there is something different about this Notre Dame team that I'm not going to look at what happened with Brian Kelly and say, like, they're going to fall apart and they're going to get embarrassed. Like, if they get beat the way that you think that they're going to get beat, and again, Ev is different because Ev's an Ohio State fan. Of course, he's going to say that. It just means that Ohio State is just that much more talented of a football team. And I think they are more talented, but I still think it's going to be much closer than you do.
What? Oh, okay. Thanks. One more idiot. Blake Giles says Indiana only lost to contenders. Apologize, Brandon. No, you fucking moron. Indiana fans are taking victory laps right now for fucking losses. That's how big of losers they are. Their biggest wins this year were losing to Ohio State and Notre Dame. Think about that shit for a second. And they got shit pumped in both of them, and they're pretending, oh, we only got beat by 10. Bull fucking shit, you lying piece of lying shit. You did not get beat by 10 in Notre Dame. It was 27-3 with 90 seconds left. You did not get beat by 10 in Notre Dame. I don't care what that scoreboard said. Anyway, Quinn Ewers.
Their best one was Michigan, Kayce, I would say.
Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, fair. You don't brag about that.
Quinjamin Ewers announced today. Quintonius Ewers announced today that he is going to the National Football League. Now, if the last few weeks is any indication, that might not mean anything, because Carson Beck said he's going to the NFL draft, and now he's down there shaking his titties with TikTok girls. So Quinn Ewers said he's going to the NFL draft. Question 1. What is Quinn Ewers' legacy in college football? What is his legacy at Texas? He came in as this mega 5-star recruit, went to Ohio State for a year, went to Texas, has gone to 2 playoffs, has played for the SEC championship. What is Quinn Ewers' legacy, Big F?
It's a difficult question because I think he's become a victim of his own hype.
Agreed.
He was such a big prospect. He was this ungodly. He was touted the greatest high school prospect we've ever seen, rated higher than Trevor Lawrence and all these crazy stuff. And he's been damn good, but he just hasn't been he hasn't been great. He's been I guess if you say really good in terms of just like a college quarterback goes, he's been really good, but just not great. It's hard to like quantify it, I guess, because like they
I think. Can I throw some at you?
Championship, I guess. I mean, he obviously went to 2 playoffs, 1 playoff games.
Let me throw an idea at you, okay? I think he could look, maybe in 5-10 years, we look back at him as the necessary table setter Texas had to have. If Arch breaks through and wins the national title, or even the quarterback after, like somebody had to stabilize Texas and stop them from being a Texas is back joke. Somebody had to get them back to the table. Somebody had to get them back in the dance. Somebody had to get them back at a serious national title level. That is where they are now. They didn't win it. They didn't even play for it. But he stabilized that team. He stabilized that program, and he is going to be the reason the next guy can possibly win it from that quarterback position. Blutman, your thoughts on that?
I mean, I suppose, yeah, that's fair. I still think, hey, maybe, I mean, well, like,
I spent a lot of time on that point.
I know, but it's just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, that's true, but it could be said for a bunch of people anyway. I think.
Well, that's fine.
I don't think that's
kind
his
of generic.
Yeah, that might be like a short-term thing, but like to me, Quinn Ewers' legacy, you said table setter. I thought you were going to say for the NIL. Like, I think forever I'm going to look at Quinn Ewers and be like, he took $1 million to go to Ohio State when all this was starting up, and like he didn't even have to play for Ohio State. Like, that to me is like what's going to end up being like in the long term of what Texas or what Quinn Ewers in college football looks like. It's like, holy shit, this guy got paid $1 million to skip his senior year of high school and didn't even have to play for the team that gave him $1 million.
That's a damn fine point, Kayce.
I agree a lot more with that.
I honestly kind of forgot about that.
I did too.
But Brandon,
like that to me is like you talk about the highest recruit ever or whatever. Like, that to me is like, hey, we've got, Carson Beck now getting 4 million, 4.5 million, whatever it is, to go play at Georgia. Didn't win dick. I mean, to go play at Miami, didn't really win dick at Georgia as a starting quarterback. And like, we talked about Quinn Ewers being like, oh my God, $1 million to skip high school like this, and didn't even play at Ohio State.
Miami going from Cam Ward for a year to Carson Beck for a year. It to me, it's like you lease like a Mercedes Benz for a year, and you're like, damn, this is good. I love this car. This car, I guess I got to put it back in the garage, and I got to. Oh fuck, there's a Toyota Corolla. Let me drive that for a year. Like, why on earth? How do you go from Cam Ward for a year to Carson Beck for a year? I don't.
Because they missed on everyone they tried to get. They missed over and over.
I know, but do you still give crazy money to the guy who you fall down to? Can we not get
desperate? And then you got your boosters that are like, "Hey, this guy's a big name. Let's get him." I don't know anything about football, but Carson Beck, Georgia, money here. Here's $4 million we could raise. Here's $5 million. That's why. Like, what? It's idiotic, but that's the sport we're in.
Yeah, well, based on the market, I don't really blame them.
No,
and to me, it's not even like I'm not even saying he's this great quarterback. I feel like I early on said that I started to see the signs. Oh, was he a Lad McConkey, Brock Bowers merchant? I think that's partly true, but I also think the narrative on him has gotten so low that maybe he's like a little bit better than people are giving credit. Now, I don't think he's some like spectacular player, but I think that Miami was. If I was Miami, I think I would do it too. I guess is my point at this stage.
I agree with you, Evan.
I think if I had no quarterback I had faith in to go into next year, I would give Carson Beck $4 million and say, "Come on down."
And that is the market value. Like, I mean, every time I know it's obviously massively different leagues, but like every time an NFL quarterback like hits that next, like they are the highest paid NFL quarterback of all time, and everyone goes crazy. It's like, well, that is what the market is right now. But it is funny that like everybody in the world saw Miami because his girlfriend is a Cavender twin there. Like, it was like, no shit, he went to Miami.
Kayce, we got one more business.
We do. And Brandon, I'm showing and telling. If you're listening on any Spotify, Apple, like you're not seeing it, but I'm talking about Huel right now. I have the daily greens in my hand. And when I tell you that I'm obsessed with these daily greens, they've also got protein. I've got the protein down here. But in 2025, we're all trying to get healthy. They have great protein that's called the Black Edition. It's ready to drink. It's a complete meal in a bottle. They've got protein powder, but I want to tell you about these greens right here, Brandon, because it's hard sometimes to get your fruits and vegetables. It's hard to get all your vitamins. It's hard to get your antioxidants, as I'm pointing down here, your probiotics. You've got I can't even say that word half the time, your super greens, all these things. Just one little scoop of this every single day, Brandon, you get them all. Just 8 ounces of water every single day. The protein tastes amazing. It tastes like a milkshake. There's no prep. There's no cooking. Literally, you just grab. They send you the blenders. You just grab whatever liquid you want, water, milk, whatever. You pour it in. You shake. You've got high protein meals. Again, you've got your daily greens. And fellas, ladies out there, this will change the game for you. So Huel, Huel. You get 15% off plus a free gift for new customers with the code UR15 at Huel.com. calm. They're nutritional, complete meals in minutes. You can focus on what really matters. And again, I cannot speak highly enough of these daily greens. Go get them. Huel, Huel.
All right. Well, Surviving Barstool starts in about 2 minutes. So we got to let everybody get over there to watch everybody cry. So we have the national title game Monday night. We will come to you as soon as that game is over with our reaction. Did anybody have anything to add? Because, Blutman, you did this.
I had 2 things. I think I could give my Quinn Ewers legacy, and then what Brian Kelly said. How will you not talk about that?
Oh, good point.
Because we had a lot to talk about, and Surviving
We brought
Barstool
up 13 times, though.
Then why did you talk about it?
Because I didn't get to talk. Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly is a bitch.
Hold on. You know what? I don't know how. So I was going to say, Blutman, you have 15 seconds. Give me a Brian Kelly take.
Brian Kelly is an all-time nincompoop. I wasn't leaving Notre Dame because I couldn't win a national championship because I wanted a different challenge. Dude, he's such an inexplicable loser, dude. There's no way to put this into words in 15 seconds.
There is. Blutman, watch this. Kayce, 3 seconds. Give me a Brian Kelly take. You can just repeat what you just said.
Brian Kelly is a bitch.
That took 3 seconds.
Brian Kelly killed a kid.
He did. That is a fact. That's what I'm saying. He wanted a challenge. I don't know, dude. Win a national title at Notre Dame.
Hey, it's too easy, apparently, Kayce.
He's a liar. He's a liar. He's a bad person. What are we going to do? We'll talk about Brian Kelly more next time we have time to talk about Brian Kelly. Watch Surviving Barstool. It's coming up very soon. Thank you for watching us. That's Unnecessary Roughness.